Hi, today I will be discussing poverty and incarceration. I will be using social class and the conflict perspective. Um, now, this topic, it reminded me of a episode I watched of a show on the Vice Network called Weedakit, Season 3, Episode 8, called Dank New World. Now, this episode does focus on a couple who just moved to Denver and they're homeless. Um, I will just be talking about what in that episode, what the episode brought to light to me, what I didn't know. Um, Now, like I said, this episode is based in Denver, and it it brought to light to me that the homeless community in Denver, it is illegal to be homeless in Denver. While they're building up the city, they're building high rises, they're raising the rent, they are making the city more expensive to live in. They are not helping their homeless community. In the episode, they did bring up several examples. It's basically a documentary type show. They have asked some of the lawmakers in the show. They had no comments on what they were going to do for the homeless community to assist them. All it was said is that homelessness is illegal and they're going to continue to build. Now, I think that episode is a really good. It sheds light on a lot, and I do hope that you guys watch the episode if you are interested in it. So, there are currently an estimated 2.2 million people incarcerated in the United States. The incarceration rate is now more than 4.3 times what it was nearly 50 years ago. Now, this is due to the arrest rate. Now, it does say particularly for drug crimes. Um, This has increased dramatically, and while sentences has gotten longer, these policy changes have disproportionately affected low-income and minority populations who now make up roughly three-fifths and two-thirds of the prison population. Now, on this slide, I do just want to go over a few statistics on homelessness that were found by the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty. Now, they surveyed 187 cities in 2019, and these are the results. 51% of those cities have at least one law restricting sleeping in public. 72% of those cities have at least one law restricting camping in public. 51% of those cities have at least one law restricting sleeping in public. Oh, I apologize. I just said that. 55% of the cities have one or more laws prohibiting sitting or lying down in public. And 83% of those cities have at least one law restricting begging in public. Now, a conflict theorist would note that those in society who hold the powers are the ones who are making the laws concerning crime. They are saying homelessness is a crime and using incarceration as a form of punishment. Now, these laws would be benefiting those in power, such as the lawmakers, the people who have the wealth, the money, because they are the ones who want a certain look for society. They don't like the look of homelessness. Um, Although they won't do anything about it, They want to make sure nobody sees it. They want to appeal to the wealthy. So just like I mentioned in the beginning of the We the Kid episode, The Dank New World, um, they're building high rises, they're raising the rent, but they're making homelessness illegal. Having homeless people outside of high rises, it's not appealing. They want to make their high rises appealing, their city appealing to those who are going to pay the high rent, to those who are going to live in those high rises. And the homelessness, they do not have the resources to make decisions, to make the decisions to not be homeless due to the standard of living. Some people are not able to afford homes. I have personally seen this in when I worked for Ohio's unemployment. People were waiting on assistance from the government, and it made them homeless. The only form of income that they have were unemployment. The only way they could get their groceries were food stamps. The only way they could afford their housing was through the Section 8. Once all of that slowed down, once all of it becomes packed, they were losing it. They weren't able to keep that government assistance. Becoming homeless, you lose all of the address that you need to apply. You may lose the phone number that you need to apply. Um, there's so many resources that you may lose becoming homeless that will keep you homeless. And even if you do getting a job being homeless, being incarcerated, you lose that job. You just lost your form of income and now you're starting back to square one. And the statistic that I have on my slide says that homelessness makes an individual 11 times more likely to be incarcerated, and being incarcerated makes a person 10 times more likely to be homeless. Now, also in chapter 7 of the book, it does mention Karl Marx. He was a German philosopher, um, economist, social scientist. He believed that the general population was divided into two groups, those two groups being the burghers and the proletariat. Now, the burgess is the more wealthy people. He believed that the more wealthy people were the ones who centralized their power and influenced the government laws and other authority. Now, just like how I explained, the people who are going to pay the high rent, the people they are building these high rises for, they are the ones who are influencing the government and the laws and other authority to make homelessness illegal. Because they don't like the look, because the government wants to make money from them, because people want to make money from them, they are going to cater to them. Now, the proletariat, those were the ones who were the workers who depend on the burgess for employment and survival. Um, Now, the homeless, they do depend on the government. They depend on somebody to hire them. Um, but due to them being homeless, nobody would want to hire them.